The character that we show the world almost never seems to be the same as when you're alone in your room and you're staring at yourself in the mirror. The reason why these two versions of you never meet is because of the fear of how other people may view you. I mean, it took a lot of courage to get to the point where I'm at now. I would fear that they would think, the fuck is he doing? What the hell is going on with him? Is he okay? What is brewing in this person's mind? After keeping this side of me hidden for so long, going through my trials and tribulations, showing the world just a small percentage of what I have to offer, I realized that at the end of the day, to really embrace what it feels like to be human, you can never get away with wearing a mask. You can never get away with keeping the truth from the world. The truth of who you actually are. There are so many people that go through their day-to-day lives suffocated in their own jail that they set for themselves because of the misalignment from their personal lives compared to what they show the world. And yes, that doesn't mean that they're being fake. But wearing a mask is another way of diluting yourself. And when you dilute yourself, you restrict your flow every single time. But the real question is, what is at the end? What is at the other side of showing your true colors to the world, to your friends, to your family, and to your loved ones? Will you scare them? Will they label you? Ridicule? Will they leave you for dead? Those are some of the many thoughts that run through my mind when it comes to taking a chance to try something new that feels like me. Something that may make the person next to me question me or themselves. Something that will create discomfort in the air. But who's to say that discomfort is a bad thing? Just because you feel discomfort doesn't mean that you should flee. Oftentimes, what's on the other side of discomfort is the reward that you've been looking for since the beginning. Yet the price is often too much to pay for other people. That's why they choose to wear their mask or dilute themselves in a way that makes them feel like they're showing their true colors, when in reality, they're only expressing just a small percentage to the world. When you do this, you will always have a voice deep down in your core telling you that you can do more and that you have to do more in order to feel that fulfillment that you yearn for every single day of your life. During my first few months of high school, in my freshman year, I was blessed with the opportunity to have my own friend group, my own social circle that I can feel like I belong in. It was a very odd experience considering how my life was in middle school. I would never participate in the sports. I wouldn't talk to students or teachers more than I needed to. I never went that extra mile to give my energy. I was very fixated on the online life. I would play games online, connect with people through there, through a false persona, because deep down, I was ashamed of who I was, but I just wasn't educated enough to put that in my own words. Yet, it was a feeling, it was an ache in my body that stayed with me for many years to come. Throughout my high school experience, little by little, I would show my character and who I was, because I never expressed 100% of me before. That was a very foreign experience. I was never given the opportunity to do so, or you can say that I never gave myself the opportunity. I was a very funny kid. It felt good to laugh. I enjoyed smiling, even when the times got very rough for me. Those were the first few moments in my life that I started to experience my highs and lows in life. One moment, I would feel alive. I would feel the power in the palm of my hands as if I was invincible. Other moments, I felt like the world was crashing down on me, and I was stuck in a corner with nowhere else to go, with no other option than to curl in a corner and withstand all the punches. Regardless of all of the pain and glory that I felt as a young adolescent, I was still very creative. At the time, before making clothing and designs, I was very much into writing my own literature. Instead of deeply expressing how I felt to other people who were close to me at the time, I chose the route of spilling my energy and my emotions onto paper through poems and short stories that these short stories would always contain characters that represented a part of me that I felt like was impossible to express or share to the real world. Sharing my literature with a very small few people was my way of opening up, taking off my mask, and meeting people halfway in terms of who I really was. And at the time, we're still young. Don't get me wrong, it's still high school, and we're growing every single day. I would utilize my journals as well, so that I can write down my thoughts and observe how I would behave every day to see if I could pick up on any patterns. That was the greatest decision of my life, because as time went on, there were many experiences, many seasons in my life that I inevitably failed to remember, even to this day. That's most likely due to trauma or drugs as well. Throughout the years in high school, I would make people laugh, I would make people cry. I would observe how my behavior would bring out a wide range of emotions out of the people who were close to me, the people who invested in me. I thought of it as normal. I mean, we are human at the end of the day. It would be a bit foolish to think that I could only make somebody feel one way. Of course it was the same way for me too. There were moments where I would laugh, moments where I would cry, be happy, sad, angry. Yet it was all new to me, because when you close yourself in for so long, and when you live in an environment that isn't so engaging, there's a lot of things that are foreign to you that may be normal to other people. So I took every good and bad experience at face value without feeling so attached to it, because I believed that that was just the part of life, the part of being human and living through experiences with other people who are unpredictable, such as myself. As the months and years went on, after so much knowledge and experience was acquired, there was still such a huge chunk of myself that I had not expressed. And this fear really kept me limited. Instead of investing in the literature, I moved on to making my own clothing as a way to create a portal for my emotions and my light and dark thoughts to be brought into the real life. I thought it was cool that I can do that. I thought about it so much. Every single piece of clothing that I made was created by hand. My designs deep in my sketchbook. Everything coming from me. That was my way of creating an outlet so that I don't wear a mask forever. Because I always believed that small progress was better than no progress at all. But in the end, it was never enough to reach that full capacity that I would always fucking dream of. Lately, I've reached a point where I just couldn't help but realize that if I can't express myself for who I am at my fullest capacity, then there's no point in living. Part of me still wonders why I still care about the opinions of others. Because a lot of the time, I would do this for me. It wasn't until I realized how common it was for other people to wear a mask and dilute themselves in the way that I struggled to break out of. And I get it. It's very uncomfortable. This feeling fucking sucks. I hate it. But there's no way in hell that you're going to show your true colors without shaking up the world, without causing a little bit of conflict, a little disruption in the water. That's a price that you have to pay. And it's a very hefty price that a lot of people are not willing to invest in. Every decision that you make in this life comes with its positive and negative outcomes. So it's always good to weigh the odds. Perhaps some people are better off wearing a mask for the rest of their lives, while other people should take that leap of faith to see where it really takes them. For me, I choose to take that leap. Because at the other side of showing your true colors represents a very foreign, a very unknown state of mind that I am just so curious to figure out and grasp in my own hands. And I believe that it's better that I do this while I'm young, while my brain is still developing. I still have a few more years until my frontal lobe is fully finished. But I always ask myself, am I really willing to sacrifice everything that I have today in order to commit to this path in my journey? A lot of the times I still find myself in the middle, the gray zone. Lately I began to dislike the color gray very deeply, because to me it represents neutrality. It represents keeping one foot in and one foot out, a lack of commitment. And that same lack of commitment inevitably keeps a chain around your legs, your arms, and your neck. Before you know it, you're completely immobile. That is one of the worst things that you can do for yourself. Because what is life when you can't act free? Free comes in many different meanings depending on who you ask. But we can all agree that staying in the gray zone is a very anticlimactic and self-destructive state to be in. If I were to go back 10 years in my life, I would change nothing at all. Because this same exact point where I'm at right now, I'm experiencing it for a reason. And at the end of the day, I am who I am. My experiences are my own. My thoughts are mine. My beliefs and passions belong to me. And they can change any day. We change as humans every single day. There's no reason why we should feel conformed to stay the same. You just need to get used to the discomfort of change, because as humans, we love that familiarity. It feels safe. But safe isn't always a good thing. What's on the other side might just be the greatest thing that you've ever experienced up until this point. It could take you really far, whether it's a good, bad, or ugly moment. You just never know. But if you feel in your core that the position that you're at does not serve you, It is your responsibility to do something about it. Because no one is going to make the change for you. Especially considering how much people love to stay the same and love the safety that comes with that security. If you think it's right to shake shit up in order for you to move forward, there is nothing in this world stopping you from making that decision but yourself. And if it's really what you want, then it must be done. If you know deep in your core that it's what you want and that it must be done, and you still choose to stay in the gray zone, you still choose to wear a mask, you still choose to dilute yourself, lessen the raw colors that you were meant to express to the world, you may never be able to make that decision ever again. It's our job to design our own lives. We design our own lives through our experiences, our connections, the skills that we learn, the hardships that we push through, the knowledge that we acquire, so many things. Every single decision that you make designs your life. And it can be a very beautiful or very ugly design. The good part is that is all in your control. But like I said before, there's always a price that you're going to have to pay for every single decision that you make, whether it's good or bad. So the strongest move that you can make is to look out for your future self at the very least. Because every single decision that you make now your future self is going to have to handle. So what is it that you really want?